All right, everybody. Now I know I'm a little bit late on this, but the Texas Longhorns had defeated the Colorado State Rams 52 to nothing. Now this is I'm not sure if you've heard this, but I'm gonna be the first one to tell you this stat. I'm joking here, but this is the first shutout for the Texas Longhorns since 2004. Now, if you had not heard that stat from anywhere else but me, and this is the first time you've heard it, probably been living underneath a rock. Uh, it incredible game, like a dominant from start to finish. Now, towards the end, there was a chance that the shutout was going to be lost, and the last drive, it was like, oh man, there goes the shutout. But Wardell Mack came in and saved the day. We'll talk about that here in just a second. So, if you like the video, go ahead and drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment down below your thoughts on the Texas Longhorns versus Colorado State Rams game. Uh, we wanted to see them dominate, and that's exactly what happened. But we'll start off with the defense here, and then we'll work our way to the offense. But just giving our overall thoughts on the game. Wardell Mack again, that catch, put that dude on the receiving core. That guy, that is one of the better catches I've ever seen inside DKR live, or even on the television. I mean, that was just one heck of a catch. He extends, catches the ball out of bounds, and then somehow is able to get his foot down in bounds. Absolutely ridiculous stuff. That saved the Texas Longhorns from losing a shutout. And like I said, the first shutout since 2004, which big stuff. Texas Longhorn defense just dominant all across the board all day long. They did not have any. I don't believe they had any sacks. I'm just going to go ahead and double check this, but there were no sacks. But it really doesn't matter because we had pressure on the quarterback all day. It doesn't look like that as much, but he was constantly having to move back, constantly move left to right, or get the ball out quickly if he was throwing it. The the Texas Longhorn defense, pass defense, was doing their job. 74 passing yards allowed. I mentioned that Torrey Horton was going to be a not was going to be he is a legit NFL wide receiver. He will play in the NFL. He's going to make a 53-man roster next year. Book it. Like bookmark that. He's going to get drafted. Bookmark that. All these things. And Texas just shut him down. 5 receptions for 31 yards, no touchdowns. Obviously, no touchdowns. They got shut out. But 5 receptions for 31 yards, that's one of his lesser stat lines that he's had in the last 3 years. Uh, so to be able to hold Torrey Horton to that was impressive. The speed of the defense was on full display, and I'm not necessarily sure that we should have known that the defense had some legit speed if they were able to win battles in the fall camp against this offense, because this offense is a high flying, fast flying offense. Our wide receivers and particularly the running backs, they got some real speed on them. Like those are it is no joke. We got some burners on this offense. So for our defense to have been able to hold them, and win scrimmages left and right. Yeah, the first scrimmage defense is going to win that, right? But after that, the defense kept winning the scrimmage. Okay, maybe the elite pass defense is here. So far, it's looking like that is the case. We'll kind of see this next week. I don't think we're going to get tested in the pass game as much we're going to get tested in the rush game this next week. And speaking of the run game, they had a rusher, 25 rushes, 106 yards. That is only the 5th rusher since the start of the 2022 season. Over the last 28 games, we've only allowed 5 running backs individually to rush for over 100 yards. The rush defense was not amazing, but it wasn't bad. It was far from it. And in the few moments, go follow CJ Vogel on Twitter. He puts out a ton of great stuff, ton of great stats after games, clips and all that thing. 2 passes over 10 yards that went over 10 yards. I believe both went to Torrey Horton. They had 2 rushes that went for 10 yards or more. One was 10 yards, one was 13 yards. And the first one that you saw, like I remember when that happened, you start to see the guy break out and you're like, oh man, here it goes. Here comes. Uh-oh. Michael Taft absolutely lays a wood. If you're watching the video on the broadcast, you can hear the fans go, ooh. You could hear it. They were out there. They were hitting hard. They were playing violent. They were playing fast. they were playing free. Like you hear Steve Sarkisian, he's a broken record when he says he wants the guys to play free. Not worry about making mistakes. Just go out there and play fast. And if you make a mistake, we'll fix it later on. But just go be instinctual in the moment. They were flying around. I'll be interested to see that Justin Marshall looked really good. He did. Now, I'll be interested to see, was it just Justin Marshall? Is that because I believe? Let me just double check. I believe that's a redshirt, like a true freshman. Never. No. No, he played last year. He's a redshirt freshman. Okay, I knew he was a freshman of some sort, but so redshirt freshman. This dude, he did have a game last year, or a couple of games. I mean, I'm looking at the stat lines. I should have been more aware of this guy. I don't know why I wasn't. Because I'd normally like to dive in on these, but 18 rushes, 119 yards versus San Diego State, 19 rushes, 98 yards versus Nevada, 20 rushes, 94 yards versus Hawaii. This dude looks like a legit running back. Maybe we portal him in 3 or 4 years, but maybe he's also in the NFL in 3 years. So that also brings me to going on to the Michigan game. We're going to really be tested with Donovan Edwards coming up. Very similarly how we were just tested with Torrey Horton in the past game, I think that Michigan is going to test us in the run defense. And I'm confident enough, at least from what I saw versus Colorado State, that we might not dominate their rush offense, but I think that this Texas rush defense can certainly hold their own against some really good running backs. And while they may not be as elite as last year's, and I'm certainly not at this point, I'm not writing off their potential to be elite like last year, but I do think that they will take just a slight step back, just a small one. But for that small step back that they've taken a huge leap forward in the pass defense. Jahdae Barron, goodness gracious, that dude playing free and instinctual, runs like a free safety, catches the ball. He just, like, if you listen to him talk about that play, he talks about how he was like, okay, there's a trick play going on. I'm gonna make sure my guy doesn't run the wheel route. As soon as I see he doesn't run the wheel route, I'm going and jumping this thing, and that's what he did. Jahdae Barron, he's looking like he's gonna be proving all these people wrong about cornerback. Now we'll see as he faces more talented wide receivers. But like I said, I mean, they were going up against Torrey Horton. It's not like that dude's a slob. Now, Armani Winfield, he was a high recruit. He was a high 4-star or a mid-level 4-star, whichever. I'm not too high on the recruiting, but I know at one point Texas was seriously trying to target and recruit him to Texas. So, it's not like this was Colorado State, right? But it's not like these are absolute bums out there on the field. And I think that the defense really showed themselves to, be a dominant defense that we can count on this year. All right, so yeah, defensively was a great day. We're going to be tested versus the run defense versus Michigan. Yeah, so we're going to be tested versus Donovan Edwards in the rush game, and really happy with what I've seen from the defense. Now, I want to mention the special teams really quickly before we touch on the offense really briefly. Bert Auburn looked just like normal. He is himself. He's a clutch dude. Didn't really have a clutch opportunity, but nailed a 55 or 45 yarder. He's not a guy that's going to hit like a 55 yard. I'm not going to say that, but he's not like the 60 yard. He's not the big booming leg guy, right? But he's accurate. He's good, and we can count on him when we need to. Michael Kern. Hopefully, you don't have too many punts this year. He had one opportunity to punt. And you know what? When you get your opportunities this year, you take advantage of them, man. So that'll be interesting to watch. Now, the offense, quarterback Quinn Ewers, he was just absolutely lethal. He only had one attempt of over 25 yards. That was one where he kind of layered it in. Isaiah Bond probably could have come down with it. If you ask him, he probably says I should have. As some people have shown on Twitter, that was a little bit of a hospital pass where Quinn kind of put him up, aired him out to dry. You don't like to see that. But as long as it doesn't happen every single pass, I'm fine with it. Now, as far as Arch Manning goes, look, we're gonna have to wait on that one. But he's when he comes in, he's gonna look good, and he's gonna be drawing all the controversy, drawing headlines, drawing articles, whatnot. That dude, he looks like he's gonna be an absolute stud for Texas. And Ryan Wingo, that dude, he is legit. Quinn Ewers probably the best catch and best pass of the day. I don't know about best pass of the day, but the best catch of the day was definitely Ryan Wingo. Uh, Quinn Ewers zipped a ball in through some small holes, and Wingo, he had to make a physical catch for it. What's interesting is he had 4 receptions, 70 yards on those 4 receptions, and he only ran 8 routes. He is an absolute monster on the football field. He's going to be a monster. He is size, speed, hands, route running ability. Like he's got everything that you want in a wide receiver, and we may not have to wait long for his breakout at all. As far as the other wide receivers go, I mean, literally every single one of them is worthy of being a number one, or not. Hold on, let me reword that. Is worthy of being on the first string depth chart of just about any school that you can find, and Division I football. These dudes are legit. I like to say it's like having a 1A and 1B receiver core. These dudes, all fast, can run routes, are physical. Absolutely love it. Jonte Cook, he was consistent like you would expect him to be. DeAndre Moore didn't really get an opportunity to shine, but I think that he's going to get his opportunity pretty soon here. Isaiah Bond, the consistency issues we had worried about were not there. And he led the team in receiving, or not receiving, but in targets. Matthew Golden led the team in receiving touchdowns. He looked good. A legit starter, and we probably have him for a couple of years here. Maybe one, though. Maybe one. Now, running backs, I do want to say, while they all look great out there, there's no controversy at running back. There is a clear running back one on the football team, and his name is Jaden Blue. By the time he had gone, so he left in the early in the third due to cramps. When he left early in the third, that at that point he had 16 snaps total, or not 16 snaps, but 16 touches or looks, because not every time he touched the ball, some of the targets either he dropped them or didn't make it to him. 16 targets or 16 looks versus 6 looks for the rest of the running backs. That was 5 for Wisner and 1 for Ryan Niblett. So he is definitely going to be the lead running back. But behind him, Wisner looks good. Gibson looks good. Velton Gardner looks like he can do some stuff. Ryan Niblett looks like he can do some stuff. So this is, I'm not really that worried about at running back, and I'm confident in our guys. Sorry, this one kind of got thrown off on the rails. I had some stuff happen in the house. Until then, on to Michigan, and as always, hook!